yeah, the first Mario Party that released for the Switch, the very first one that came out, Mario Party. I think they called it Mario Party 9 or 10. It's just a number.
Okay.
Um, it was very plain. There was no life to it. It was it wasn't fun. And these are just things I'm saying about it, but they're objective facts too. No one will disagree with this. Um, how do I can't
If
explain.
you hold on, if you do disagree, say something in the comments.
Yeah,
Start an
yeah,
argument in the comments. I
yeah.
want to
I would
see
like to hear someone's
I want to see everybody arguing about
like
the
for the
best
game.
Mario Party and everything. It'll be fun to watch. Um, so Mario Party 9, you think that was, or you
I
know for sure?
I don't know for sure,
Because it
but
was it the second one for Wii, which was 8, was like I don't like where you're all in the same cart or whatever, and you go around and collect all these mini stars and stuff.
oh
I
no, that
hate that
sounds
one.
bad too.
It's like,
No, this
yeah,
one's probably worse though. This one made you feel like you're playing Mario Party in a morgue or something.
really.
I, yeah, I played it so like I didn't play it much. Um, so I don't remember a lot from it. I just remember it being that bad that I was like, yeah, I think we played it twice, and we're not going back
Mm.
to that. So when this newer Mario Party released, it was so good. It was like, thank you, Nintendo. You redeemed yourself from that awful disaster earlier. Yeah.
Well, they probably had, some had to kick themselves in the pants to get a good one out after two bad ones,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Like,
It was kind of weird how it happened. I was talking to my coworker about it because he was telling me about I just got the Switch and I was like, is there a Mario Party out for it? And he's like, yes, there is, but you might not like it. I'm like, it's Mario Party. How bad can it be? So I bought it and then next week talked to him and I was like, yeah, you're right about that Mario Party. That was awful. And I was talking to him like I searched the Nintendo Marketplace because they have that online marketplace where you can download games, and I'm
mhm.
wondering why don't they just rehash all their older Mario parties and throw them up on the marketplace to download and to buy? Like it's obvious money you can make from it. People love those Mario parties. And
Yep.
then it was just maybe a month or two later they came out with the new Mario Party. It's like, whoa, they kind of did what I was thinking. Kind of. I still think it would be cool to actually have the original ones with the original rule sets, but you
Yeah, that
can't.
would be nice.
Yeah, I can't hope for too much when it comes to Nintendo.
Yeah, they're good, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
they're just they're good. I'll leave it at that. But kind of yeah, Nintendo's history is pretty bizarre but fascinating. They started making trading cards. So they
Really,
say.
that's what they say.
I didn't look this up on the internet or anything. This is what my brother told me.
Well, he should
Early
know.
trading card games back in the olden days. I don't even know how long ago. Uh, Um, yeah, I don't know if that's accurate. So I'm sorry if I'm putting fake news misinformation on your
Yeah,
cast. But
yeah, whatever,
you know,
It's all fake news. Everything's fake news.
yeah, it's all fake.
Can't trust any news, so
Yeah, except so that's like something that I've been wondering about too. You know how people like to change history, like uh Biden's recent transcript, how that was changed from yeah. I wonder if that has ever taken place in history with like official documentation,
oh yeah.
like that history that we will regurgitate, but
Yeah,
it was just changed and
all the
we'll
time.
never know.
All the freaking time. You never get the full story.
Yeah.
Like
But
it's
how often does that happen? It makes me worried that
well, you look at just even um a classic example that people nowadays realize, but Vikings, like the Vikings, what we knew about Vikings uh was based on the accounts of the people that they attacked, basically,
Mhm.
and people that didn't like them. And so you had this image of Vikings that was just, these guys are dirty, like, you know, backwards people. And then you do a little more digging, literally, you know, sometimes, and find out that they were actually pretty clean and they weren't like, you know, I mean,
That's what I
they
heard.
weren't,
I heard their hygiene was pretty
yeah, and
up there.
they didn't engage in uh forceful um acts as a more than any other group at the time,
Oh
really.
yeah, that's just like a stereotype.
Is Yeah, it was just like, yeah, that did take place, but
Yeah.
if you look at like, every other group
That was
back
just
then,
part of warfare.
it was just part of existence back then.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean it's right or
right.
excusable, but it's
I
like,
mean,
you know,
taking, taking survivors as slaves was normal too. It's same
yeah.
thing. Doesn't mean it was
uh
right. It was just normal practice, and it was barbaric, barbaric. But I- it's just
You're
how
right.
life was, the
I
way
just,
she goes.
I just looked up, I mean, according to Wikipedia, Nintendo was founded in what? 1889?
Gupta.
That's what Wikipedia says. That seems like too old. Um,
Yeah, that's pretty old.
and originally produced handmade ha Hanafuda playing cards,
Oh shoot.
and
Okay.
then ventured after venturing into various lines of business during the 1960s and acquiring a legal status as a public company. Nintendo distributed its first console, the Color TV game, in 1977. Huh. I didn't know they were that old, and I didn't know
Yeah,
they
no kidding.
produced first started out with playing cards.
The
What is
1800s.
Hanafuda? Hanafuda? Flower cards, style of Japanese playing cards.
Oh,
They're smaller but thicker and stiffer.
just like what?
Nope, nope.
They're just playing cards though. Just
Come on, man.
I didn't say anything. You said it, not me.
It's a certain type of game, maybe. They're used to play a variety of games, like Koi Koi and Hachi Hachi.
Okay, so they're just like
They have like flowers on them and stuff.
interesting. Well, that's one way to start a business.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. So they were like in the gaming realm for, I guess it's not so far a stretch as to
I
go
mean,
from physical
yeah,
games to
games. Those are
video
the
games.
physical, the video games of the time.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, kind of low. Um, history. Yeah, history.
History,
Something
history.
else. I love it. Like I was talking about that Sargon character earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess his name, one of his names that he went by, translated to legitimate king or legitimate leader or something. And I
Hmm.
forget what the word in English is, but what that is not an oxymoron, but it's when you say something, but when you give something a name, but it's actually the opposite of that, like Planned Parenthood, like that kind of nature. So what he was doing was he was giving him the name legitimate king, but he
Hmm.
wasn't. No one elected him. No one like made it ruled him king. He just was like, "Hey, I'm king now." Because like look at my name.
Did
It
yeah,
actually translates to legitimate king.
was
How
that
can
the
you argue?
point to like uh try to increase his legitimacy to get people to think he was the legitimate king? That
Yeah,
was
yeah. I guess
okay.
that's how the
Like
story goes.
propaganda, you
Yeah,
know,
propaganda.
just
But
get the
yeah,
people to say it enough and then
the people loved him though. So like there was no qualms about it. Like, all right, if you call yourself king, you're doing a
huh.
great job. So keep it up.
So it's for himself. He had to
Yeah.
convince himself that
So in a way, they did kind of like do it democratically uh,
okay.
by not killing him.
So what was he the king of?
So after the Sumerians, for my understanding, I'm going to be really, I don't want to say too much
Oh,
because I've only been
whatever.
listening and reading little tidbits.
I mean, they'll probably bless you. They'll
Thanks.
probably bless you. They'll probably take away your, your PhD or your
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah, I don't want that
Your
taken away.
five.
Word for it. And there's
Yeah.
no other PhD like it. Um, Arcadia. I feel like that's not even the name. The Arcadians come from the land Arcadia.
Okay.
I'm on to a great start. Um, so that you've heard the Sumerians, the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
people,
Yep.
documented people. After their kind of civilization dispersed and broke apart, little colonies kind of formed in that area, and
I'm sorry.
Arcadia was the
I keep
first.
sorry to interrupt you, but I keep getting a jack-o'-lantern peeking at me.
That would throw me off too.
I had to point that out in case anybody's watching and they're like, what the heck's going on? Like, are they noticing this? Yeah, that's but okay,
Yeah.
they split out.
So yeah, the Sumerian Empire. Well, they weren't even an empire. It was just a civilization,
Okay.
a people that spoken us same language, and so something happened. Maybe it was just like too much war between the Sumerian people themselves, or I don't know. But some Sumerians broke up and went into separate tribes, and a result of it was Arcadia, which was, I guess, just a land mass of people that collectively got together and were like, yeah, let's come together and make a or stick together. I don't know, Arcadia. But all I know is Sargon was the guy that kind of formed formed it and made it happen. Like he put together the communal stuff like with farming and art agriculture, got that all set up, roadways, kind of like he was the first one to visualize a city. Like we don't have to live in these tribes. We can actually come together and work together and create something really great and have walls around it. And then we can have like an ecosystem of of people working together, and we can call that like a community, and like we can have a currency and start trading. And yeah, they were like the first empire, so like trading started coming uh through there, and knowledge and power, and it just started growing so fast. Like he only reigned for 50 some years, which is I guess a very long time back in that day, which makes sense. But
Yeah.
during that 50 years, he accomplished so much and took over so much. I like the whole Middle East, that whole area was yeah, um all under his rule. After he died though, his predecessor, from what I remember listening to, did a pretty good job at like sustaining his prosperity.
Hmm.
But politics became politics, and Arcadia became no more. And then after Arcadia, like Greece and your older other empires came to be. Um, so yeah, it's pretty interesting. I just like find it interesting the whole like how everything got started. Like I always thought back, like how cool would it be to be that first civilization with the first army? Like imagine being the other guys in that tribe, and then all of a sudden this mass formation of armed people. Back then, they were probably just armed with like spears and um freaking loincloths, but still, just seeing a formation of armed men and in that manner, and being like, oh, yeah, we're gonna listen to these guys. We just got taken over. I
Well,
don't know.
yeah. It'd be like
That's
if you had like a fleet of alien spacecraft just show up like hundreds of high tech, you know,
yeah.
or thousands or
Like
what, I don't know what the number would
you
have to
win.
be. And then like the whole world would be like, okay, so what are our options here?
Yeah, and that's what how the world responded is what are our options? They're like, well, we're gonna start building walls now. And the walls back in those days were these huge they'd be like, 40 feet thick clay walls. And no technology back in the time could actually penetrate these walls. They didn't have like catapults or anything. So defensive warfare became like the most superior in in that time, because no one could successfully, I guess, siege a well fortified city. Like it was impossible. Ladders were really just really basic ladders back in that day, which were really easy just to dismiss of. So you couldn't like latch on with ladders. You
Hmm.
couldn't, battering rams weren't a thing. It was just like once a city had walls, it was very, very hard to um, besiege that city and take it over. I don't know when the first siege weapons came to be, but that would be a fascinating little trip too.
The Be cool to see everything like happen.
Mhm.
If you could watch it all happen in the span of, not like spending, like living that long, because living that long would just be tiresome, I think. But if you could just watch it all happen like real quick,
Yeah, just observe it. Like
somebody should
alien.
make a video of something like that. I don't know, maybe they have something where it shows everything. But it wouldn't be seeing it in real life. It would be animations and stuff,
Oh yeah, like a
recreation,
simulation.
yeah, reenactments and stuff. But it'd be cool to see it in real person. Like,
Yeah, I'd like to see like the first discoveries, including like the very first discovery of that I guess new. Oh man, how long ago? It'd probably be a Homo sapien that figured out fermented fruit. Huh,
yeah, I
very first, like, whoa, why is Ted acting so strange over there?
yeah.
Or like the first how did they figure out bronze with the tin and the copper? Yeah,
Yeah, they
like
figuring out all that metallurgy, like,
yeah, who figured out like let's heat this up and form it into
I
tools?
mean, it doesn't seem so like far-fetched to me that because we experiment with stuff. It's just what we do. And you give us enough time with anything and we'll figure out 100 different things we can do with it.
Mhm.
But like just to see the process of, trial and error would be fun to like what do they
Yeah,
do first? Like, oh, let's try this. Or what are some of the weird things they did? Like,
yeah.
well, let's mix in whatever because they had to mix in certain things to make, metals harder or,
Oh yeah.
like so how did they figure that out?
Like with food too. There's a lot of
Mhm.
foods where how the heck did someone figure out if you add this ingredient to this ingredient makes this and oh it's
Yeah.
so cool that people like to humans tend to experiment like it's in nature, human nature to experiment and to have accidents where those accidents result into discovering something and that's pretty cool too.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to do stuff with food, experiment, try new things.
Mm-hmm.
But
Soups are fun.
soups, you can throw anything in a soup
Yeah,
and it'll be good.
yeah. Or it could be really bad.
I don't think I mean, yeah, I suppose it depends, but like you could throw like any vegetable in there, any meats and vegetables. I
Yeah.
don't know. If
My
you put
favorite.
like something weird in there, like taco seasoning, that might even be good, actually.
Oh, weird stuff works like
I don't know.
that. My favorite one, my little secret for soups. I'll let everyone know.
Oh no.
Uh, the combination of dill and habanero. Those two
Okay.
flavors really I don't know, they create like this different accent and it's really unique and good. I recommend try it if you ever come across some habanero and dill.
Hmm.
Add a little bit to like soup, pretty much just soup. I don't know what else you could add it to, but yeah, it's an interesting flavor, but it's really good. If you're into spice, it's gonna be spicy, obviously.
What does a dill do with like what is it?
I,
So
See,
I
that's the
know
thing. Like,
habanero's
yeah,
spicy.
so dill is a very specific taste. Like, what if you taste dill, you're like, yeah, that's dill. You can point dill out in anything. It's just like a very powerful flavor. Um, and then that's the same with habanero. It's the only pepper that actually, in my opinion, that actually holds a flavor or it has like a unique flavor. Um, Apart from the other peppers that kind of all taste like peppers.
Okay.
um, so when I don't know habanero and mixing it with the dill, they do something magical. Make a very unique flavor, and I can't really explain it because it's a flavor, but you get a little bit of that dill and a little habanero, and they both kind of mask each other, and you can't do that thing where you're like, oh, that has dill in it. You're like, ooh, what is that? Like, oh, it's dill and habanero. It's one of those things.
You
It's
could
amazing.
you could probably use that for making jerky.
Ooh, nice. I'm doing that next time I make jerky. Yeah,
You make
I was trying to think of what else you could do it with, but
you make
jerky
jerky?
makes sense. And the marinate that jerky overnight.
Do you make jerky?
Oh, all the time.
Really?
So we'll get the thin cuts at the grocery store. We don't do anything fancy. We might tenderize them if they're too thick, but usually we don't we'll just cut them up into smaller pieces, marinate them overnight, and then we'll do one batch in the oven and then the other batch in the dehydrator.
Okay.
And yeah, they both pretty much turn out the same. The batch in the oven sometimes needs to be cooked a little longer than the batch in the dehydrator, but yeah, that way we get like the full amount, and it's a fun little thing because you get jerky and you get a house that smells like jerky for like a whole day, and it's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you win. You know.
Yeah, I haven't made jerky for a while. It's just been I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
why.
you gotta get your jerky game back. You know what sucks though is not having venison because beef jerky is good, but
Yeah.
I want to like have venison jerky because it's the best jerky. Just like Super Smash Brothers is the best fighting game. You want the best jerky, you want the best fighting game.
So so I was talking to my mom about that because they got a lot of deers by them. I'm like, oh, you
Mm.
should get some of those deers and put them in freezer. She's like, I don't really like venison too much, and I'm like, well, what about venison jerky? Like, you know, and she's like, oh, maybe. I was like, yeah, just get one, make it into jerky.
Yeah, the whole
But
thing.
when you brought that, I think it was from your grandma's or something.
Oh,
You
you remember
brought some
that?
of that. Yeah, that was so good.
Yeah,
Oh man. Yeah, that venison that I think
yeah.
that was the first time I had deer actually.
I'm
But
so glad
yeah.
you got to experience that because so to this day, I still haven't had jerky. Like it's still like this is good jerky and it's up here. It's I don't know.
It's
I
like
gotta get the recipe.
that's
I don't
like
know why I
my
haven't.
my grandpa's jerky that he used to make, and nobody ever like he never told anybody the recipe, and then he
Burgers.
passed away, and then like I took the recipe that he used to start with, and
Uh,
then he, did his own stuff to it, and I've gotten close. It's like
okay.
you never get exactly,
Yeah,
the
it's
same.
one of those things, man. You gotta keep experimenting.
So you got to pass things down. You're like, you make sure you pass things down to your children or
That's
your grandchildren or whatever,
that's all we have, honestly, is
hmm
the knowledge we acquire throughout our lives. I mean, that's the most valuable thing we have
hmm
as an individual, I would think. I would
hmm
love, like, never mind. Yeah, it's
No,
cool to like have that ability where you can pass down knowledge to a little person.
yeah, I mean, even if like you don't have kids, you pass it down to nephews, nieces, friends, kids,
Yeah,
whatever. Like, give it to, I don't know. We're all we're all we're all in this together,
yeah.
kind of a thing. You want to
That's kind
make
of
the
what
world a
books
better
are, aren't they?
place. What's that?
Kind of like what maybe the idea of writing was, getting your thoughts on a
Hmm.
paper, how creative a discovery or whatever you want to call the invention of writing words on paper, how awesome that was back in the day. Like, oh, now I don't need to pass down all this knowledge to
Yeah, because it was all oral
yeah,
history, like, which is, I don't know. I'm not smart enough to pass down, like remember everything that, you
yeah.
know, people say to me.
So
Like,
that's just like,
like
oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna forget this conversation in 2 minutes, so
I know I will.
I'm I won't forget it in 2 minutes. That's why we're recording it. So
Yeah, see, the writing of today.
yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. It's important
It was
all
fun hanging
around.
out in space with you today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we have been able to breathe and haven't frozen. I don't know how space works. It's my
Yeah,
first time in
we
space,
shouldn't
so.
be able to hear each other. That's one thing
Oh,
I
really? It's a kind of an interesting planet behind us that's shaped uh,
yeah,
a butt.
it does look like a butt.
But yeah, that's no,
This was good though. I kind of like
yeah,
the Zoom.
yeah, it's
Yeah, bring Zoom.
that's
I keep
good.
wanting to call it Skype, but it's not.
Same thing, same difference, right? You can use whatever.
Corporation is a fun fascination of mine too. I like stories of corporations, like how they got started and their stories. Um,
All the evil things they do.
that yeah, I'm more talking like more of the inspiring stories. Like this guy started in
But
his garage, and
you like to look at things positively. And I like to look at things like these evil corporations and how they're
well, there's plenty of
oppressing
those
us.
out there. That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
when,
Well, I'm looking at the time.
when,
I guess there. I'm
when you
running out
got
of
close, your body disappeared, and
my
there's
body
just your
disappeared
head.
when I got close.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, okay.
it was fun.
Anyways,
Yeah,
um, yeah, we're running out of time, but I think
looks
this
like
has
it.
been a good good sesh,
Yeah,
good combo.
yeah, it was. I hope I was able to keep it going enough. I feel like
Yeah.
my Super Smash Brothers games, I just haven't played it recently. So I just,
We'll have
if
to
I played it like recently, it would have been probably easier to talk about.
we'll have to do it again and then,
Yeah,
play right before we do this and then uh,
yeah, that'd be fun.
then we'll just be complaining about I don't know. But yeah, so thanks for coming on and
Yeah,
all
definitely.
you people out there, like, share, subscribe, share, comment, share, subscribe, whatever,
Thanks, everyone.
if you want to. I'm not trying to be pushy, but all right, cool.